Hello friends, how are you? This is Dr. Shanagi, Ayurveda and Medicine doctor and also Isha Hatha Yoga teacher. So today we are going to talk about the Ayurveda aspect of nutrition. I know these days a lot of talks are only about nutrition. People are worried what they should eat, people are worried what they should not eat, and they really want to know what is Ayurveda approach towards nutrition. Because except for Vata, Pitta and Kapha, people don't have much awareness about Ayurveda. They don't know like there are many other textbooks which are in Sanskrit like in Charak Samhita, Shushruta Samhita, Ashtang Hriday, Ashtang Sangrah, and many other books are there, not only these, from which Ayurveda study is composed of. So, and this concept of nutrition is provided in bits and pieces at many places in Ayurveda. So, there is not one textbook from which you will read and you can figure out, okay, this is what Ayurveda has to say about nutrition. To understand Ayurveda's nutrition, you need to understand the Ayurveda aspect of nourishing the body, or you can say you need to understand on what principles Ayurveda work and on what basis, what were the basis of that time's Charak, Maharshi Charak, who is the author of Charak Samhita. So, what was there in his mind, on what perspective he has written about nutrition for mankind, and what were the things available at that time, and how he divided everything for the well-being of people, so that more and more people stay healthy for long and they will overcome diseases naturally. Because Ayurveda believes if your body and mind is strong, your ability to conquer any disease will be greatly enhanced. And one more aspect of Ayurveda is that is preventive aspect. If you take care of your mind and your body well, that means it provides you natural strength to prevent various diseases. So, prevention becomes extremely important aspect of Ayurveda. And when we talk about the preventive aspect of Ayurveda, food becomes most essential thing, because all our nourishment, most of the nourishment we get through food. We all know the origin of Ayurveda is from Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda is one of the 4 oldest Vedas that are present in the world. It is the most oldest literature, and we consider Ayurveda as eternal because nobody knows its origin, when it started, because it was always there. So, these are the most oldest literature present on the earth. These are 4 Vedas: Sam Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. So, Ayurveda got originated from, or you can understand it as, Ayurveda is a sub-Veda of Atharva Veda. Ayurveda takes these things into consideration, that whatever we eat, that affects not only our body, but it also affects our mind. So, Ayurveda says whatever we eat, that's what we become. So, if we have proper knowledge about nutrition, like what kind of food suits our body, that means by knowing this we can nurture our body well, at the same time we can also nurture our mind well, just by knowing what we should eat, what we should not eat. So, regarding this we need to go into little depth of Ayurveda. By knowing the proper utilization of food, not only we will make ourselves strong, but this will also help us to fight against various diseases. Because in various diseases, according to Ayurveda, certain food is being restricted, certain foods you can eat. It is not something universal, because as you know, Ayurveda focus on individual approach of human being, what a person should eat according to his disease. So, that becomes extremely important aspect of Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, a lot of focus has been given on wholesome diet. That means full grain diet. Ayurveda don't says you just take out this ingredient from specific thing and then you make up out of this ingredient and then eat. Ayurveda focus on full ingredients like full grain, wholesome diet. So that is the main science of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda says nature knows best what is the need for the body. Because if we extract one ingredient from certain thing, that means we are taking one ingredient that will cure one disease, but it can also create imbalance at and some other part of the body. That's why Ayurveda has a concept of wholesome diet, that complete diet. Not, we don't extract any ingredient from anything, because according to Ayurveda, nature knows best what is needed for human, much more than what a man can discover. So regarding this, let's try to understand the principles of Ayurveda. According to Ayurveda, whatever we eat, digestive fire, that is called Jatra Agni, works on it, and it divided the food into three parts. So one part of the food is consumed regarding making our body, like seven kind of these 7 layers of tissues: ras, rakt, mas, med, asthi, majja, shukra. So you can understand it, one part of the food is being used by the body for the formation of the body, or for the growth, for the repair, because a lot of tissue damage happen on daily basis in our body. So for repair purpose and for growth purpose, one part of food is being used by the body. And one part of the food got excreted by excretory system, in the term of fecus, that's went out of the body, because that is the discarded part, which body is not utilizing for its growth. And there is one more part of the food with which our mind grows. That's why a lot of importance, when I'm saying mind, that doesn't mean brain. Mind means that subtle dimension of our body, which includes our emotions, which includes our thoughts, which includes how we think, what kind of anger we have, what kind of irritation we have. All these things are also connected with food. That's why in Ayurveda a lot of importance has been given to sattvic food, or the food which comes from the proper source. So that's why in Ayurveda a lot of importance has been given how you eat, what you eat, in what posture you eat. You should not be emotionally disturbed while you eating. You should not be in angry mood when you are eating. You should be very pleasant. You should worship food, so that the quality of the food can be enhanced, and ultimately it will nurture your mind in a positive way. Similarly, the water that we drink, that also got divided into three parts. So one part of water get excreted in the form of urine. It's a majority of the water get excreted in the form of urine. Some water is retained in our body in the form of various liquids and various fluid material that is present in the body, because water is very essential for our life to function. As we know, like 70% of body is water. So water also get retained in our body. At the same time, water also makes the subtle form of water also is responsible for how you think, the way you think. That's why a lot of in Ayurveda a lot of importance has been given to positive pranic water. That means water which should not contain any hate waves or any jealous waves or any bad things. Especially the water that's been provided in Hindu temples, the science behind giving this water as the form of Charnamat. Charnamat is a kind of holy water. So there is a science behind it, like water has a memory. So this water carry away all the positive energy with itself, which is nourishing for your psyche or for your mind. So that's in that way water also becomes very important. That's why in Ayurveda a lot of importance has been given, like when you are drinking water, especially when you are drinking water, you should not think anything negative. Your thoughts, your emotions, your anger should not be there while you are drinking water. And especially when you are somebody is very angry, we offer a glass of water always, just to cool down anger with the positive energy, like okay, the anger should be cooled down by just drinking water. So a lot of importance has been given to these small aspects just for the well-being of the system. But as we know, as a mankind, as a race of humans, or as our today's era, we are always after tasting the good food. We always wanted to have the delicious and good food. That's why in Ayurveda a lot of preparations regarding food is also being provided, so that people not only get health but they also know the various procedures how to cook food in a certain way, so that the food will not lose its nutrients and it will be well absorbed and digested by our digestive fire. That's why in Ayurveda there is a concept of Ahar Kalpana. Ahar Kalpana is a Sanskrit word. Ahar means food, Kalpana means preparation. So various food preparation methods has been provided in Ayurveda for the well-being of people. For example, according to Ayurveda, if you go through Shushrut Samhita, a lot of importance has been given like how you eat food, because whatever we eat, the way we eat, that's what we become. Sushruta was a father of Indian surgery. So he was the first surgeon in whole world who did surgeries, very ancient. So the text wrote by him, that is called Sushruta Samhita. So in that Samhita, it's a lot of elaboration has been given, like how you should sit and how you should eat. So most important thing Ayurveda recommends, it's better you always sit in cross-legged posture whenever you are eating food. And whenever you are eating food, you should not be in any hurry, you should not be having any anger, and you should not be walking and eating. That is, I know, because people these days a lot of busy, and that's why they are walking and they are eating. You should always sit in a proper way before consuming food, so that your body is at rest, and by this posture your digestive fire works the best. And while having food, you should not talk, you should not drink excessive water, because excessive talking can disturb your vata dosha, which ultimately if you are so much talking while eating, it will cause stomach pain eventually with course of time. And if you are walking and eating, that means it will disturb your digestive fire, which will weaken your digestion, and ultimately it will lead to indigestion. In addition to that, a lot of confusion happens, like people ask like what kind of food they should eat, how the taste should go. So if you are hungry, if you are very hungry, start your food with fruits, because hunger means a lot of vata. So whenever you eat some sweet fruits, it will satiate your vata dosha, it will bring your vata dosha into balance. After that, if you don't have fruits, but if you have something sweet in your food, try to have that sweet in the beginning, so that your vata dosha will come to normal, because sweet things mean madhur rasa. Madhur means sweet thing, that brings the vata dosha into balance. Best thing to have fruits in the beginning, because that will balance your vata and you will not feel much more hunger. After that, you take anything salty, any pulse or legume which is salty, or anything cooked which is salt in taste, because salt and sour are the two ingredients which helps to make digestive fire more, and the more digestive fire is, that means it will help your digestion better. So first anything sweet like fruits, after that anything salt, and then sour, and at the end if you want to have, you can take anything astringent. After that you can take anything bitter or pungent if it is available. So that will satiate the kapha dosha, that will bring the kapha dosha into balance. So this is how we should start eating. It will help to make your digestion better. At least you can start this way, like you start with fruits first, because it will balance vata. After that you can have your salt and sour things, so that it will make your digestive fire good. So this is how you can start the process while eating. This is how in Ayurveda the principle of Shad Rasa, that is 6 tastes, has been described, and it is extremely beneficial if you try to eat food according to these 6 tastes. So this is the very important principle of Ayurveda. Now the question comes like how much food you should eat. If we divide the stomach into 3 parts, then 1/3 of the part you should fill with solid diet, like heavy food, which is cooked food. Like in Ayurveda, there is a properly cooked food in spices. That's what we eat and we recommend. So 1/3 of your stomach should be filled with that. After that, any 1/3 you can fill with any kind of juices. When I'm juices, I'm saying it can be legume soup or legume or anything liquid, because 1/3 when you fill with it, it will make your digestive fire better. And 1/3 you can leave it as it is for the moment of gas. So that's how Ayurveda recommend how you should fill your belly with food whenever you sit in eating. So this is how the Ayurveda principle works. So now let's try to understand what are the various edible things that's been mentioned in Ayurveda according to Charak Samhita. So first thing in Charak Samhita that is been mentioned, that is called Shuk Dhanya Vog. Shuk Dhanya means all the grains, whatever grains are available in the whole world, that comes under the category of edibles. So these grains, various kind of grains like millets, rice, wheat, various kind of grains, that's what you can eat. After that, there is another Sanskrit word called Shammi Dhanya Vag. Shammi Dhanya Vag means all the legumes, all the pulses which are grown in the world. These all pulses are edible and pulses you can eat. Various kind of legumes comes into this category like green grams, orange dals and various kind of yellow dals and various kind of these kind of legumes. After that, in Charaka it's been explained that meat diet eaters. So various kind of meats are been explained in which under the heading of this Mas Varg or meat. So various kind of, if like when there was nothing, people don't know how to do cultivation and nothing was available, no science for cultivation and food growing was there. So that time in Charaka it's been explained like how people were surviving on meat when they don't have any other options, and what are the things that were edible in meat. So a lot of elaborate explanation has been given regarding this. But Ayurveda supports not meat much. Ayurveda supports more of the sattvic diet because that is more beneficial. But yes, because when it was difficult circumstances, when nothing to eat, they have also explained like how in tough circumstances where no food, no grains, no pulses, how people survive on other things. After that, it's been explained as Ksheer Varg. Ksheer Varg means it includes those substances which are edible, which includes milk and cheese. So both of these are also edible things that are available in whole world. So Ayurveda is not against milk. If milk is from proper source and not hurting anyone, so you can use milk also for your well-being. After that, the next category is Shak Varg. Shak Varg include all the vegetables that are available in the whole world that also come into the category of edibles. After that is Phal Varg. Phal means fruits. So various kind of fruits that are available in whole world that can also be part of your diet. After that comes Harit Varg. Harit Varg means all the green leafy vegetables like various kind of salads, various kind of things like lettuce, various kind of these green leafy vegetables which are extremely nutritional and very good for health. So they have explained all these green leafy things into the category of Harit Varg. You can understand it as vegetables. After that, Charaka explained various kind of waters that are available in whole world and that can also you can consume and it can be part of your body. So there is a very vast elaboration regarding water in our Ayurveda, and we also have created many videos regarding water. So we have mentioned a link. If you want, you can watch those videos and make use of that. After that is Tail Varg. Tail Varg means various kind of oils that are edibles, and you can use these oils for various treatments, and how to use these oils and how to cook food in these oils, it becomes extremely beneficial for health. But it is just you need to know the proper ingredients and proper recipe. After that comes the Ikshu Varg, means all the sugars, all the sugary things that you can use, especially this palm sugar. It is extremely beneficial for health, but make sure you should not be diabetic. And this various this natural sitta, that is called mishri in Ayurveda, it is also very beneficial, and we use it in various Ayurveda medicines. And after the last thing that he explained, that is the kritan work, that is the prepared various kind of prepared recipes, already made recipes, that's been explained in Ayurveda. They are also edibles. In addition to this, a lot of importance has been given that at night, according to Ayurveda, when after sunset, the digestive fire goes down. So, try to have food before sunset, or when sun is still there is light in the atmosphere. As you see these birds, they also stop eating after night. After one sunset, they don't eat anything, because it's a natural phenomenon of the nature. Like once sun got set, your digestive fire started going down. That's why in Ayurveda a lot of importance has been given not to eat at late, not to eat at 10 o'clock. Try to have food around 7, 8, and it depends on at what time your sun sets. Before that you try to have your food, especially in India, because most of the time sun sets in, even in summer, in 7, 7:30. So, before that you try to have finish your food. It would be good for your digestion. And also the division of the food is like that. The morning meals you can have good enough meals, afternoons little lesser than that, and night meals it should not be very heavy, especially if you are eating meat. Please don't take meat at night hours, because meat takes a lot of time to digest for digestion. And it would be good, like you keep your leafy vegetables and vegetable soup or light, anything light for your dinner, and don't try to have dinner very late. If for some reasons if you have to eat around 11 or 12, try to stick with the soup diet. Don't take any heavy meals at these timings, especially don't take any kind of fruits these timing late at night, because they are not so good for health when you take fruits very late at night. What Ayurveda has to say about how food affects your mind, or what is the relation between the food and mind, and what is the concept of sattvic food, tamasic food, and rajasic food, and how it is connected. Let's see. In Ayurveda, it's been explained there are 3 qualities of your mind, or 3 gunas of your mind, that is sattva, raj, and tam. They has nothing to do with your physical body, but they are the like in physical body, this vata, pitta, and kapha, these 3 doshas makes our body. Similarly, there are 3 doshas or gunas, you can say, that make our mind, that is sattva, raj, and tam. So, those food which enhance the sattva quality of your mind, that are called sattvic food, because sattvic means that will make you to live in a pleasant way, that will help you to be in meditation more, that will help you for your yoga practices. So, these foods comes under sattvic food. We all know, like these days a lot of fluctuations are happening in our mind, because we all go through certain circumstances which are not easy to handle. And if you are more focused towards meditations, if you are more focused about yoga, and if you more focused about enhancing yourself, so Ayurveda recommends sattvic food to these kind of people. And this sattvic food includes whole grain diets, like full grain diets. All the grains comes under sattvic food. In addition to that, all the fresh fruits and juices, that also comes under the category of sattvic food. Fruits are extremely beneficial for enhancing the sattvic guna. All the legumes, whatever the legumes we eat, that also comes under the category of sattvic food. That's why in India most of the times people prefer eating rice and any legume, because consciously the culture is built in such a way that it will enhance the sattvic good in your body naturally, and people will be more focused towards meditation, towards yoga. But these days is not the truth. Things are changing, but yes, ancient culture was designed like that. Various kinds of nuts, dry fruits, that are also comes under the category of sattvic food. In addition to that, honey that we collect from natural honey, that also comes under the category of sattvic food, and it is a very important ingredient for various Ayurveda medicines. Whenever we provide Ayurveda medicines for anyone after consultation, most of our medicines are supposed to be taken with honey. So, honey comes under sattvic food. And it is very, very beneficial for health. But yes, for diabetic people there is some precautions to take. And at the same time, if you are trying to have excess honey, that is also not so good for health. Anything that is in proper quantities can act as a medicine, and anything in excess can bring disease. So, this is the basic principle of Ayurveda. In addition to that, milk products, milk and cheese, that also comes under the category of sattvic food. Also, all the herbs that we are using for treating the patients, and various kind of decoctions in Ayurveda that we prepare for various kind of diseases and chronic ailments, that also comes under the category of sattvic food. Next comes the Rajasic food, or the food that is responsible for enhancing the Rajoguna. So, this is that kind of food which brings a lot of fluctuations and a lot of movements in the system. And but some Rajasic food also has medicinal value. For example, garlic. We consider garlic as a Rajasic food. It is Rajasic, yes, it is not, it does not come under the category of sattvic, but if you are living in the worldly situations where you need a lot of good health and body, so we recommend the use of garlic, being an Ayurveda doctor, because it has tremendous health benefits. Also, as Ayurveda doctor, I also recommend various spices, and spices also comes under the category of Rajasic, because they enhance various kind of heat in your system. It also enhance the movement in your system, and it is very beneficial for your digestive fire. Especially for Vata people, these spices are extremely good. For Pitta people, they can have spices, but please try to have spices in less quantity, because Pittas are already into fire. So, it is very beneficial for digestive fire. Even for Kapha people, spices are extremely beneficial for your health. In addition to that, all the salty things, that also comes into Rajasic category, and all the sour food like in our pickles, like in India, a lot of trend of pickles, that also comes under the category of Rajasic food. So, this is just a categorization of food. That does not mean when I am saying Rajasic food, so it is bad for health. It is also good for health, but it is just the qualities of mind we are discussing. We are not discussing the qualities of body. So, how we feel, the way we feel, what will help your body, I am just trying to clear the confusion. Like, this is how the food has been divided. That does not mean Rajasic food is bad, because many Rajasic food like spices and garlic, it has extremely good properties for your physical health. So, we cannot ignore these foods. If somebody has more focus into health, he can make use of it, because Ayurveda says everything in this world is medicine, if you use it in a proper way. So, if we go through Ayurveda principles, Ayurveda says anything in this world, any herb which is grown naturally, if you use it in a proper way, that works as medicine. It does not matter whether it is Rajasic, it is Tamasic, or it is Sattvic. It is just your choice what you want in your life the most. So, accordingly you can choose your food. But there is no categorization like something is good and something is bad. It depends on the need of the person. What is the need of the person? Accordingly, a person can decide his food. Next comes the category of Tamasic food, all the meat that comes under the category of Tamasic food. Definitely it is not, Tamasic means it will bring darkness. So, Tamasic Tamagun is more related to depression or agitated mind and disturbed mind. So, that is why in Ayurveda a lot of focus has been given on Sattvic and Rajasic food, and Ayurveda do not recommend much of Tamasic food, because it does not support meat much, but sometimes there are some medical conditions where meat becomes must, because somebody is, let's suppose, at the stage of dying and his health is going extremely bad, where meat soup is needed. So Ayurveda recommend do what is needed. So if it is the need, if the meat is needed, this meat soup is needed for this patient for health, so Ayurveda recommends you can have it as a medicine. Because if you have a body, then only you can discuss about life, but if your body is going so bad, so there is no point of there is no point of mental development and higher levels of consciousness if you don't have a proper body. So that's why Ayurveda is totally dedicated towards health, and yoga is totally dedicated towards higher consciousness, and to some part of it is also dedicated towards health. So alcohol, eggs, all this packed and canned food, it is, everybody knows it's not good for health. So this also comes under the category of tamasic food, and the food which is frozen, which is been kept in refrigerator for long hours, and a month before you have cooked some food, that also comes in the category of tamasic food, which is not so beneficial for health. I think everybody knows. So like these foods are not so good for health, and Ayurveda also recommend you try to have fresh food whenever it is possible, whether it is Rajasic, Tamasic or Sattvic. Try to have freshly cooked food and consume it within 3 hours of cooking, so that it doesn't lose its nutritional values. So this is the how the principle of Ayurveda works regarding food. So there is another dietary consideration in Ayurveda, that is according to body types, according to your digestive fire. For regarding that, you need Ayurveda consultation, because that is individual from person to person, it varies from person to person. But there are general guidelines, and we have created videos regarding that: Vata type people, Pitta type people, Kapha type people, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and what are the do's and don'ts. There are links below, you can click on those links. Or if you want specifically what to eat, what is the diet regime, what should be done, then regarding that you need proper consultation. Only then we can help you with like certain herbs, certain medicines, Ayurveda medicines which you need to take, means various kind of Ayurveda supplements which can help you, especially rasayans. So this cannot be universal that everybody should do and everybody should use. It's from person to person, and it's different from person to person. So if you're watching me for the first time and you don't know what is your body type, there is our dosha series video. You can go to our dosha series, you can click on that video and figure out your body type and try to adopt Ayurveda in your daily life and make your life better. So if you have any question regarding this, you can please write to us. We will try to answer your questions in the best possible way. Also, if you have not clicked our channel till now, you can hit the bell icon so that you can stay in tune with us with our daily videos. Until then, stay healthy, stay blessed, take care. Bye.